Okay, so we were on precipitation. We were doing atmosphere, and the last portion that is left is precipitation and types of rainfall because of that. Now, precipitation means any form of rain. Maybe it is in the form of a rain only, a fog, a hailstorm, or whatever. It's called precipitation. Clear? That means falling of water droplets which have now turned into water and have become too heavy for the clouds to hold them back, they fall down. Now, when they fall down, they could be in the form of a fog, a rainfall, a hailstorm, or whatever. Clear? So that is basically a precipitation. Backbones are straight. I'll read it out. When the water vapor rises, it starts cooling. Water droplets are formed due to the condensation of water vapor. Clouds are just masses of such heavy water droplets. When these water droplets become too heavy to float in air, they come down as precipitation. This is what I told you. So examples are rainfall or snowfall. When precipitation is in the liquid form, it is called rainfall. When precipitation is in its solid form, it is called snowfall. Clear? Now let us see the types of rainfall. On the basis of mechanism, there are three types of rainfall. Number one is the conventional rainfall. Then the next is the orographic rainfall, and the third is cyclonic rainfall. Now, first one, the conventional rainfall. When the air near the surface at a place becomes warmer, it begins to rise in the form of conventional currents. As it reaches the upper layers of the atmosphere, it cools and causes rainfall. Conventional rainfall is common in equatorial regions. Now, equatorial regions are those regions which are next to the equator. Here, if this is the earth, let me turn it like this. If this is the earth, the division is the area where it is equator and the area next to it. This area and this area. Here is the equator, near the equatorial region. So most of the times, conventional rainfall happens in equatorial type of climate. Why? Because the sun rays are falling direct, and there's a lot of evaporation. Can you hear me? There's a lot of evaporation. As the hot air rises up, the cooler air comes and takes its place from all sides. Once it takes the place, then you have the then you have these water vapors rising up. There the condensation, go and give it. Then the condensation takes place. These droplets, when they become too heavy, water cannot hold them, clouds cannot hold this amount of water, or air cannot hold that amount of water, then it falls down. So now it is falling in a liquid form, so it's a rainfall. So conventional rainfall happens more in equatorial region. Why? Because there's excessive evaporation in the equatorial region. Clear till here? Next we come on to, where am I? Next we come on to the orographic rainfall. This is the most widespread form of rainfall. It occurs when mountains stand in a path of a moisture-laden winds and force them to rise. As the air rises, it expands and cools, and that causes rainfall. As the air crosses over the other side or the leeward side, it loses most of the moisture, and the other side receives less rainfall. The other side of the mountain is also known as rain shadow area. So now they are telling you that as the winds are moving, they are laid up with water. They have a lot of moisture in them. And there comes a huge mountain in their path. Clear? Supposing this is the mountain. Clear? It is the mountain. Now, as the wind blows, this air with a lot of water strikes the surface of the mountain on one side. Now they turn to rise. They start rising, but they are too heavy. So they drop down all their moisture in the form of a rain towards this side, towards the side with which they have hit. If they're coming from this side, this is the side they will hit. Yeah. Once they hit, they try to rise, but it's too heavy and they drop all the water towards that side. Now that side where you have waterfall means the rainwater falling down. That side of the mountain is known as windward side. Windward side. This is the side of the wind which is facing, which the mountain is facing. Windward side. Now, after they have given all their water here with the rainfall, now they are dry again and they rise easily. Now, as they are blowing to the other side, this side, since now they have no moisture left, is called the leeward side because it has no other rainfall, or this leeward side of the mountain gets very less or no rainfall. Did you get this much clear? So this is known as the orographic rainfall, where a mountain comes in between the moisture-laden winds. When the winds strike this mountain, they drop nearly all their water here, this side towards the windward side. And while they go towards the leeward side, it is most of the times dry. Clear? Clear? Now coming to the third one, the cyclonic rainfall. Now, as the word tells you, cyclonic, tufani. Okay? The one we experienced a few days back, you must have seen it, how wildly it was happening. So let us see what it is all about. So it is associated with cyclones and depressions. Warm and cold air are of different densities and do not mix well. The warm air being less dense, rises gradually over the mass of cold air, expands further and cools, and rain falls. So now what happens is, when we know that the hot air is lighter, so it will rise, and the cool air is heavier, so it will come down. Now as it is moving down, this rising air collides with it. And what happens is, a turmoil happens and you have a cyclonic rainfall. It's as simple as that. Yeah? Most of the groundwater comes from rainwater. We all know that. Our basic source of groundwater which is underground, is because of the trapping of the rainfall which has fallen down in the layers of the earth. Clear? That is groundwater. So, and the main source is rainfall, obviously. So, plants help preserve water. Plants, they preserve that water with their roots. They hold on the water. Clear? And the soil. Clear? Now, when trees on hillsides are cut, rainwater flows down the bare mountains and can cause flooding of low-lying areas. Once the trees on the mountains are cut down, that means the soil is open. There's nothing to hold back the water, which earlier was held back by plants. Are you lost? Come back. Alert. So when there are no trees, obviously the water will sprinkle down through the slopes to the low-lying areas, and it might create a flood situation there. Yeah. Now, rainfall is very important for survival of living organisms. We all know that. Rainfall is considered as the purest form of water. This is also we know. Clear? If rainfall is less, water scarcity and drought occur. If there is little rainfall or no rainfall, then a situation like scarcity of water happens, and that is called drought. Drought means sukha padna. Clear? On the other hand, if it is more, flood takes place. And supposing there is more than what is required, the presence of water, then it is flood-like situation. Clear? With this, we come to an end of the chapter. We will take up the question answers tomorrow or the next time when we meet. Now, I would like you all to please, I will show you the diagram and you all, I'll tell you the page number. Please make sure that you all go through it. I hope it is clear. Put a tick mark on this diagram on page 134. The cyclonic rainfall. Cyclonic nahi hona chahiye. This is orographic rainfall. I don't know why they have written cyclonic rainfall. There should be orographic rainfall. Okay. Then come to this conventional rainfall. Put a tick mark on this. Yes, it is orographic.
And below it's written cyclonic rainfall and above it's written orographic.
It should be orographic. Put a tick mark on this diagram and conventional rainfall, page 134. Then come on to the next page. Page 133, wherever you will have the question about relative and absolute humidity, you will draw this diagram. All the three. Yes. Okay. Then just a second. Come to page 130. Wherever you will have the questions related to layers of atmosphere, there you will draw this diagram. And then last, the composition of atmosphere. Wherever you have this question and you are answering it, there you will draw this diagram. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We have to draw in copy.
Atmosphere. Now, what you can do is you can start drawing these diagrams. Now you don't know where the questions will be. No worry, don't worry. You draw the diagrams one after the other. Wherever you have this page and you have a question, bring that question to that page where it is related to that diagram. You can aage piche karo the questions, but write a proper question number to it. Clear? So for this time, whatever is left, I'm giving you to draw your diagrams. So you can begin. Plus, if you don't want to do that, you want to wait back, you can do the important terms right now for this chapter. Wind, air pressure, humidity, temperature, normal lapse rate, and particulate matter. Okay? It is
Excuse me,